Come on in, everybody. Feel free to join the ASMR morning sounds. I will be doing these type of videos so y'all don't lose the channel. Okay, my lessons are in books and PDF and audios for sale. I don't um I don't put my original content as far as lessons on this channel anymore. But feel free to listen to my morning ASMR art and discussions. I will be discussing some things that have been on my mind as I'm doing some art. So I signed up for a drawing course as well as been taking some little painting lessons, painting workshops, and I'm quite enjoying it. So I have some water here. I have water. And I pre-selected some colors. I have green, red, black, which I'm going to use for strawberries. I'm going to practice doing some strawberries today. I'm also going to be practice doing some other type of fruit and using art that's already done as inspiration for some random art that I'm doing. I'm using this brush, definitely this brush, and I do have another brush that's similar to that one. Okay, here it is. Okay, this might be for like the ground, or this one could be for the ground. Okay, so I have the right brushes. Okay, so it's nice to do some painting and some writing sprints when you're fasting in the morning. A lot of people they can't get through their fast. And what I mean by not eating any food and not having any sugar. Some people can't get through their fast because they don't know, they don't have nothing to do and they're tired of cleaning. Not everybody wants to clean a lot through their fast. So I find that just doing something I don't do a lot of makes it easier for me to get through an hour of my fast. So painting is something that I'm learning. So I find that um, finding a new talent, um, learning a new skill during your fasting time helps you to get through your fast. So I'm going to use these pencils here, and I got this eraser. I got all this at Five Below. Not that. I got this at Five Below. I got the watercolors on Amazon. Okay. Now, since it's just practice sessions, I'm using scraps of paper. Okay. See how small they are? I'm using the back of a practice session so that I don't waste paper. So I just took a large piece of paper and cut it up into four squares or two so that I don't waste paper. So even this, so just scraps. So I'm going to look back on what I did. So this was some intuitive art I did last week. I think it was last week. So this is intuitive drawing, and I was actually doing this with a song in my head, one of my favorite classical music. So you could do intuitive drawing to classical music, and then you can always do wet on wet watercolor to give it some color. But you have to use permanent marker for the first drawing. I had to go over it because I didn't do that. So I might do some intuitive drawing in shapes. But I did this part not looking, and then the shapes I did actually looking at the page. So I'm just going over some things that I did. I like to do this is other artwork I did over the last week, last 30 days, which was like intuitive. I did with my eyes closed. So this was done with my eyes closed. This was done mostly with my eyes closed, except for the shapes, like the geometric shapes. This was done with my eyes closed. This was done with my eyes closed. And this was actually a mistake, an art mistake. I didn't like what I did, so I just worked on what I had, and it ended up being interesting. Um, there's that one. I'm just showing y'all some things. Whoever's trying to get through their fast. Okay. So I was watching a video this morning, and the lady was talking about um, don't strive for perfection. These are just some pieces I did. Okay. I like to look back over the last few weeks so I can see how I've grown. Um, these are intuitive art pieces and ones I did without looking, with my eyes closed, y'all. So here's another one I did with my eyes closed. So these are kind of journal entries. Journal entries. This is why I have words on this one and a few things on that one. Okay. So I have been looking at strawberries. And so I think I'm gonna do mixed media, but I think I'm going to draw, lightly sketch the strawberry first, and then I may use colored pencil, watercolor pencil, which is this one. This doesn't look really, really red, but we'll see how it goes. Might not be red enough. I do have a deeper red in my watercolor paints here. So we'll just go over it if the red's not deep enough. I could also use a marker. I have a red marker. So the teacher was saying, whose video I was watching, she was saying use whatever resources you got when you practice your doing strawberries. So I might use the red marker instead with a black marker and watercolor. So I might do it that way, y'all. I'm thinking about how I feel, what I feel connected to. So I might use these two. I might use these two. But this is dry erase. So this is going to bleed. So it might actually work using this one. Hmm. We might need to test it. We might need to test the theory of the red dry erase pen because it might actually work out in a strange way. Let's see what it does. Doing some art experiments here. So this is the dry erase. I don't want to use an important pen. I'm an important brush. So okay, the dry erase, that is actually not bleeding. I wasn't sure if it was going to bleed. So get a little test here. Okay, we're going to start this strawberry. Okay, one thing I found out lately, I've been thinking about how when you entertain less people, it seems like more productive you are. Like the less you entertain people. So let me see here. This is a study video too, as I said. So it might be some time where I'm going slower, but here's what it is. So strawberries, they kind of look like they kind of look like they're almost heart shaped, but they're not. So let's just I do want it. I could have just left it uneven and made it look like it was a smushed strawberry, but I just want to get it lined. A little bit here. I really don't feel like doing all the coloring. I'm not in the mood for actually scribbling coloring. I was thinking about painting. So let's see here. I got a bucket of water for the clearing. I have a bucket of water for the red. I could do wet on wet. I could. That's what I'll do, wet on wet. She said, don't try to fill in the hole. Allow yourself less is more. Okay, that's what she said. I guess to make it look a little redder in some areas. I actually like what that was doing. It is what it is, y'all. I learned how to take my time. Oh, this paint going everywhere. So I didn't even look at the way she did it, cause I did wet on wet, y'all. Well, this is actually a little bit of a. I decided to go over it with a dry, and it's looking good. Like when I'm going over a dry like this, it actually looks pretty good. It's amazing. Like it's giving that little that that weird strawberry type of look. I think it needed more red to it. So I do have to make sure I watch the brush sizes because it's like when I go the brush is too big, it just doesn't look right. Uh, Not the best, but I damn sure enjoyed it. Enjoyed doing this painting. I don't have it. Y'all like the sounds y'all hearing? I decided to go over it again. I felt like it wasn't dark enough. Okay. So I did enjoy that. But let's see what happens when I do it drier or just with the brush, not necessarily. Oh, I was looking at a video of this lady's vid, this video. I hope I could get to watch the short. She's doing the strawberry, y'all, and she's talking about where to add the shadow. So I see she does go a little bit heavier on the red over here. So, okay, she did start hers light. She did. All right. Okay. So basically I'm learning to draw with the brush. So when she went down, her stuff was a little bit more curved at the bottom, but hey, still looks like a piece of fruit. Trying to make it smoother so it looks like it's actually blending. Dang. She goes a little bit more heavier with it on the top. So I'll just go. Maybe she just lets it bleed or whatever. That's what I'll do. I'm bleeding into the water. I should have started with the yellow first, like she did. And she did pre-draw it, which I can go over it in watercolor pencil like that. Yeah, yeah, I can do that. This is a watercolor pencil, so let's see. Here, mixed media. So hers ain't exactly like mine. Mine ain't exactly like hers, but okay. Now, so I'm just thinking about where she added. She did add some blotches of red. I guess she was. Where did she get that white marker from, though? Like, she looks like she used a white marker, but I guess I'll add some green on mine instead. Didn't work. I'm gonna let it dry. Because I think if I don't let it dry, then it's gonna run. Okay, she is using some sort of white paint. She's doing multimedia. But you can't add white to that. She used the oil. I don't have any white. Let me see if I got a white marker. Nope. So I guess I'll make them green. Actually, they needed to be smaller. Okay. Okay. So hers look a little bit triangular. So let's try it with the marker. Okay. I'm just gonna put a few here. Yeah. 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 Okay. Now this is multimedia. I wanted to at least be able to see um, the shape of the strawberry. I think I can still see the strawberry. I see I'm going over heavy. I don't know why I even drew those drew those thingies when they didn't even. Uh, nah, they- that brush sucked. Let's try this one. I'm gonna have to. I do want some brown in it, but I don't want that much. Maybe make it look like it's aging. Mm, yeah. Okay, that looks like it's aging a little bit. I gotta really just dab this very lightly because it's just supposed to be like a couple, and it's still splattering, y'all. I don't know what to do. I guess it's supposed to do that. Probably should have let it dry. It's okay. Okay. It was some nice prints. I feel like I'm learning about strawberries, but I feel like I need that white that she's using. So today I'm gonna get me some. Let me see here, because I know it ain't gonna work like this. Because she put on top of the strawberry some sort of oil. Yep, she put an oil on there. Okay, I did want to do some trees, y'all. Let me see what this is about. Here, trees. I'll go over this one. Wow, light to dark. I'm starting to understand about just using your brush just to draw. Starting to come naturally with using understanding this brush, like just to draw, like it's a pen. They were saying learn to draw with the dude. The dude in the video was saying learn to draw with the brush. So I'm just thinking about if I was drawing, how would I angle my brush? That's what I'm doing, y'all, when I'm doing this little random, little weird little painting here. And also thinking about how high I would want my It's like light the dark. I'm actually enjoying this little painting, and it's saving so much space on my. I'm thinking about what this is over here. Hmm. I didn't realize how much deep focus. Um, I'm just experimenting at this point, y'all. Learning from any mistakes it seems like I'm making. Yeah. I feel like this was very uh, therapeutic in a different way than writing. It allows me to feel how the artists be feeling when they be doing this. I don't want it. I want it to look like there's some dirt going in the water. Okay. Blue sky falling on me. Nothing but blue skies, all I see. Blue skies smiling at me. Blue skies, all I see. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, y'all, this was a very quick one. Just some things I was looking at on, I remember looking at. Wait a minute here. I feel like I do want to add a little bit more blue there. Yeah, it looks a little better. There you have it, y'all. Just a little sketchy. All right. I'm not an expert, y'all, but I felt like this was a lot of fun to do. A lot of fun. Okay. I was looking at videos on how to do trees. So I got a little bit more time left. y'all, a little bit more. I do want to do some intuitive art, but not. Let me see about this tree. Make sure my time, I'm not missing any workshops here. Okay, I got some time, it seemed like, so I could just keep on painting. I want to see about this tree that they were how to paint trees for beginners. So I'm looking at how this lady's doing watercolor trees here. I'm becoming more like where I'm not worried about mistakes. I'm enjoying the process. Let me get some new water. Fresh water. Okay. Okay, so let's see what trees that she got here. I think that would be easy. Let me see if I use this brush. This brush, because it looks like she's going. Well, she's using this brush here. I don't know what green that is, but we're just going to use what we got. Guess to make it. She's adding some dark areas. Let me watch her video. I do want to leave some areas where you can't really see in there. This is a dryer brush on these strokes. Okay. And then what did she do with the next part? Okay, she did add a little bit of dry, a little bit of dark here, I guess. She's trying to get the light where the dark areas are versus where the light the light parts are. Okay. Looks like she can paint trees in her sleep, this lady. Okay. That's what it looks like. This lady just painting this stuff so fast. I can't believe I actually did it. So she did add some branches, I guess, like in there. That's why she left some of that white space. Okay. Maybe there's a branch sticking out there. Okay. There's my little tree here. Y'all, I tried. But maybe I want to add a little bit of brown, but it might be too dry at this point. I'm going to leave it alone. I'll add the brown next time. So let's try this tree again, y'all. Patience, patience, patience. I'm not even thinking about, I'm just kind of intuitively doing it. But she did say leave some space. Maybe I want to make it this tree a little lopsided. See what happens. So I'm learning how to do trees. Y'all see how I'm kind of, but I'm not following her exact strokes because I don't want to I don't want the shape to be identical to hers. I'm going to change it a little bit. I think I'm going to add a little bit of brown just to add like there's some almost like there's something happening here. Where the things are aging a little bit. Maybe there is a little bit of sun. All of a sudden, I'm sitting up here dabbing. I wasn't even. Here, there's a little bit of sun here. Maybe, or maybe there's some yellow in the tree. You know, trees do have other things that other colors, so rather than just green. Okay, and I remember they said leave some of the blank page because adding some branches. So I have to consider how big this tree is. See all that weird stroke messed up right there, but it's like I'm good. I'm good with it. I really don't think I want to keep messing with this tree, but we'll see because it's actually a bigger tree. So I have to think about. Hmm, oh my god! Let me see here. What am I doing here? Mm, it's like when you add those other branches, it starts to look more realistic. I remember she said, draw with the brush. Okay, exactly what I'm doing. My strokes ain't the best because I'm kind of new at this, y'all. But I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Okay, I'm starting to get it. Maybe I want to add a little bit of red in there. I'm not even thinking of like, am I making mistakes here? I'm just like having fun doing the piece. We're living in a world where perfectionism is starting to become a real problem. It's like a lot of people just like don't even see that it is. Okay. I really like how I did this tree. I don't know. Maybe that's a red bush that's on the ground. Okay, that's actually not looking bad. I feel like my mind was so obsessed with trees, so maybe that's why I'm doing better at trees than I was. So I did let this dry. I felt like it needed to be a little darker. Maybe there's a part that's kind of sticking out there. Okay, I'm doing trees for a while because I am obsessed with these trees. So this is just something I'm just learning trees, y'all. I'm getting good at it, y'all. I'm getting good. So I think I could add a little bit of green in this bush here. Maybe just a little bit. Some color. Not always so green, but it's darker on the bottom. Yeah. I'm also learning my style, like how my hand likes to stroke. I'm trying to think what I would use this one. Y'all, I am so caught up in this right now. What if I use this? I saw her using this brush too. Now I'm gonna do that little circle tree, the little one that got the multi bushes. I'll try that one too, but I do want to just keep on with this first one. Hmm. I'm thinking about how the back would be lighter because that's the part that's not getting the sun. I mean, that's the part that is getting the sun. Sorry, y'all, I said it backwards. I'm trying to keep it from looking so controlled as well. Like trees don't grow even. Okay, I got a little heavy there, but it is what it is. The one teacher I was listening to, she said try to leave space. Don't fill in so much of the space. This part I didn't do too good at, but you can't be perfect, I guess. We'll just leave it like that. I think I went a little bit too watery on that part. Well, I'll make it like it's just kind of maybe it's more in the shade or something over there. I don't want this tree to look so perfect. Okay, she is going in different. Maybe I could add a little bit of y'all. Let me add a little bit of mix it because she looks seems like she's blending colors. Yeah, I took a bold step, y'all. I actually blended some colors, which I like never do because I'm not. I feel like I'm not as confident, but I'm starting to get there, y'all. Okay, I used a different brush just to see, but I am going to use a smaller brush still when I think I'm gonna use this brush. See if I can use this one or this one. This one for the branches. I'm thinking about how she said draw.
So she said if it bleeds, just let it bleed or whatever. So I guess that's it's meant to do that. I don't know, but I love the way it's. I don't really want it. I don't want it to look even. I'm learning like in watercolor, you still gotta consider that if the brush is like an actual, still like a pen you're using when you're using it. So it's like you gotta still keep that in mind. So I think it helps to have some drawing skills. One teacher was like when I was watching her video about landscapes, she had an interesting where she was like let the um so I did want to add a little bit of extra, like a little bit of darker blue. Maybe there's some sort of water splashing there. I did get a little heavier on the bottom. That could be just something sitting there, maybe a pile of dirt. No, it kind of looks like a pile of dirt now. I see great art, like when you're involved with something, it actually takes time. That's why you have to do it because you enjoy it and not because you're trying to impress other people. Otherwise, you're not gonna like you're gonna be like, oh, comparing it to other people. I'm just letting my mind do it intuitively at this point, just to see what I come up with. And I'm trying using this brush. This is starting to look good. Dang. I should have put some yellow in there. I was moving too fast. But we'll figure it out now. Maybe just a little bit here, there. You know, don't want too much. Okay, I'm actually proud of this piece. Okay, y'all. Here it is. There's my little tree. There's my tree. Um, I want to try something here. Hmm. Starting to get interesting. I feel like more confident at drawing with the paintbrush than when I'm drawing with um a pencil. That's interesting. I never knew it was like that for me. I guess I had to actually um even- I'm just thinking about what the heck happened to the napkin, y'all. Hmm. And she said, like, drawing with your brush. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. And I'm just doing it by shapes, y'all. I ain't even. Okay. All right. I don't even think I'm gonna define it or anything. I think I'm just having fun with this. But maybe I could put maybe some red curtains in the window. I don't even know what that is. Just having fun. Hmm. I don't know what this is. This is maybe a red bush or something growing here. Something red. I want this tree. I'm trying to get this tree right, but I don't know if I'm doing my brush strokes differently. But okay, it's coming along now. I wasn't putting enough paint on the brush. Maybe there's a little blue in there. Maybe it's not exactly. There we go. Okay, I just had some fun with this one. This one was actually quite fun. It really was. I'm thinking about the strokes when I do the sky so it looks like there's actually maybe a cloud there or something of that nature. I'm actually doing the I didn't realize how addictive painting could actually be. I always thought that writing was addictive for me, but woo, I don't know. Maybe I had a hitting addiction for painting in my entire life and just I don't know. I might end up doing an actual project too, like one that I spend a good amount of time on. I am thinking about like maybe there's little I'm trying to let the strokes do the impressionism. Let the strokes do the work rather than like painting an actual cloud. Hmm. All right. Considering where the light source is actually at. Okay. I can always make that wheat. Maybe it's this form of wheat. I don't know, y'all. I'm kind of guessing my way through this whole thing, y'all. Just whatever. Okay, I kind of messed up right there, but we'll fix it. We'll fix it. I'm trying to consider where I see the light source coming from, like where it's coming from on the page. All right, y'all. This is just a quick picture. I wasn't trying to do nothing perfect, but I did have fun doing it. I'm really getting into impressionism where it doesn't actually it's not defined, but it's kind of watery. I've been thinking a lot about um less being more in the watercolor world. Right. I still want to keep doing trees, y'all. I'm just saying. So she's using. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple of trees. Still doing some more trees here. Really enjoying this. I gotta go in a minute, y'all. Let's get some more trees done. And I'm thinking about her strokes here. So she is kind of drawing. Let's do this again. Okay. Let me mix the green. All right, this is a different stroke than before. I wonder if I put some smaller strokes just kind of in here, like maybe with some orange mixed in. It's kind of there we go. I'm actually experimenting with mixing too, because I like impressionism. So I'm just kind of letting my intuition kind of lead the way with this tree. Okay. I do got to work on doing the branches a little more because I think I'll be struggling with these branches. Okay, I noticed that her branch don't exactly match. So she's like down here, and then she kind of just goes up, up, up. That's what she does, and I think she kind of just goes like that, and then she's kind of add some brushes. I don't really think I should reload my brush. Just let the leftover paint on the brush. If she was talking about less is more, so there we have it. We have this very interesting tree here. I'm gonna leave that detached. I feel like I have to stop being in this perfectionism type of energy. I'm breaking a habit, y'all. Here we go. Because I'm so used to being a certain kind of writer that's there we go. I just added some green. That was fun. I actually did like my brush stroke on that one. Okay. All right. So let's see what happens when I kind of spread out the strokes. Y'all, I hope I'll be able to stop. I feel like I can't stop. I'm not even like trying like to make it perfect. I feel like I be doing too much. We're trying to be perfect. Let's get some of that black in there. Yeah, I have to stop trying to be perfect. I am mixing colors though. I am being bold enough to mix some colors. These strokes are so different up here, but I guess there's no such thing as mistakes in art. Oh, this is turning out fun. But I have to see how she did the branches on this one because, woo, child. Maybe I want to add some red. When I'm done. I ain't even thinking about being perfect. I'm just kind of letting my intuition tell me what to do. These ones might be darker because they're lower, closer to the ground. These ones most likely should be lighter because they're up in the air more. That was a little bit too much water. Okay. I'm looking at her. Okay. this is where she gets into doing this. Okay, she doesn't have an even number. So I have to do one more branch. Y'all, one more here. Okay, this is my new favorite brush, y'all. So I think I'm going, think I'm going to do one up here. Just to kind of throw it off. Like, so it's not so. Here we go. I am mixing these colors to add a little darker green. Mm. Okay, this isn't turning exactly like hers, but I think I'm kind of proud of this, even though it's not as, maybe I want more red there. I felt like I be feeling like sometimes I want it darker. So if I feel like that, I just do it, y'all. I just go by whatever emotion that I'm feeling. Let's see what she's doing with these branches. I'm gonna let it dry and add a little bit of um she didn't even show how she did the branches. This lady is something else. I'm trying to learn from her and she's skipping through the tutorial. So she didn't exactly show me how to do this. She said whatever the mistake is, I'm just gonna let it be, y'all. I don't even know. She messed me up with that not showing me how to do the branches. But sister don't know I know how to. Maybe there's some weird one down there trying to grow. Let's see what we get here. Cause I had to find my way through. This lady didn't exactly say. I don't even know what that one is. But we'll just say that's like some weird one growing there. Okay. Or it's pretty much it could be a tree that's kind of growing under it, or it's a bush. Let me see. Because I do know that um let me see here. Okay. This lady done made me change my whole picture because she didn't show how she did those branches. I'm a fast learner. This lady just ain't showing how she was doing it. So I had to figure out something else. I had to kind of find my way. See, I needed more space over there. I'm understanding that they use the white space, the negative space. Okay, they do. Okay. I'm starting to understand in the brush strokes. Okay, this is me practicing trees, y'all. I'm just learning, so I'm starting to get it. Starting to get it. So we'll use this side to do it. Do her little do her other tree exercise. So she is doing like little circles. She's thinking about like basically the shape. I'll just turn the paper for me. I'm not gonna twist my wrist. That's a little bit too heavy. Okay, so let's get this. Okay, I'm running out of I started using this watercolor tray and it's starting to look different. It ain't perfect, y'all, but I am learning. And that's the important thing. This one ain't the best, but wondering if I could maybe I don't know, y'all. Okay, we'll just leave it alone. I'm just thinking about her strokes when she was like doing them. She wasn't necessarily so worried about um that one looks better than the other one. So I'm just thinking about what she was doing with her strokes. I'm gonna do that. This is one tree she did. I want to do it again. But I want to keep my practice ones because they're looking pretty good. For me to have just did the trees for the first time today, I think they're not looking too bad. Okay, what if I don't want? Maybe I could do a She was saying light the dark. So I actually decided to mix in. Uh, I ain't even reload the brush, y'all. Just doing this like this. That lady was saying like, y'all, these are sprints I'm doing. You know, some of y'all wondering. Oh, there's a tree there. I kind of like how that one turned out. It's interesting with that sharp stroke. Okay. I do want to look at what the one lady was talking about landscape. Okay. Wow. My thing is looking for the one where she did this little. Here it go. This is the one I've been practicing. I could actually do. It's funny how you when you look at trees. See, this one could actually be. Look at that. I turned it. I turned it around. See, there's a tree there, and then there's a tree here. Okay, using the space on the page. I'm learning how to do landscapes and trees right now, y'all. I slowed this down. One watercolor practice. Okay, so
No water, like you can see I'm doing here on the right, darted. Grab your favorite watercolor paper and paints. It's not going to really matter what brand or type they are to be able to learn this technique. Start with any large round brush. I'm using a size 10 Princeton right here, and we're going to dip our brush into the water and start painting blobs with clean water. Now you want to think of trees, tree shapes, but you also want to leave some gaps and spaces in between, and you'll see why later. Now, depending on what color you want your treetops to be, you're going to start dropping that color into those watery blobs. I'm using sap green and indigo, letting everything blend and bleed together.
Ah,
You can also create a harder textured edge where there's no water, like you can see I'm doing here on the right, but I like a good mixture of hard and soft lines as I'm playing with the colors in this treetop. So you can just dip right here, and we're going to dip our brush into the water and start painting blobs with clean water. Now you want to think of trees, tree shapes, but you also want to leave some gaps and spaces in between, and you'll see why later. Now, depending on what color you want your treetops to be, you're going to start dropping that color into those watery blobs. I'm using sap green and indigo, letting everything blend and bleed together. You can also create a harder textured edge where there's no water, like you can see I'm doing here on the right, but I like a good mixture of hard and soft lines as I'm playing with the colors in this treetop. So you can just dip your brush into the water and soften some of those edges so that you have a really nice juxtaposition of light and dark, contrast, textured, and more airy. So this is treetops to be.
okay. What's she
Start
saying?
dropping that color into those watery blobs. I'm using sap green and indigo, letting everything blend and bleed together. You can also create a harder textured edge where there's no water, like you can see I'm doing here on the right, but I like a good mixture of hard and soft lines as I'm playing with the colors in this treetop. So you can just dip your brush into the water and soften some of those edges so that you have a really nice juxtaposition of light and dark, contrast, textured, and more airy. So this is the treetop, and we want to work really quickly so that this stays wet while we paint the ground. I forgot to refill my yellow before I started painting, so I refilled that super quickly, and now we're going to paint the ground. And you can do any colors you want, any colors that you want to be in the ground. The biggest thing to keep in mind is that the top, and you'll see where there's no water and some.
She said we have to do this quickly.
Now, textured and more airy. So this is the treetop, and we want to work really quickly so that this stays wet while we paint the ground. I forgot to refill my yellow before I started painting, so I refilled that super quickly, and now we're going to paint the ground. And you can do any colors you want, any colors that you want to be in the ground. The biggest thing to keep in mind is that the top and the bottom need to stay wet for this technique to work. So we're going to move very quickly. And then another thing that I like to do is I like to have different colors in the top treetops and the ground. So I like to play with the different colors that would be on the ground, the different colors in the leaves. You can do any colors.
She said we have to work
any
quickly.
you want. Art is supposed to be fun. Do pinks and purples. Do random, fun, whimsical colors. Just add colors and make sure everything is staying wet and that you're moving pretty quickly. So now I've got my ground, and I am switching really quickly to a longer brush. This is a size 4 round long.
She said really
And what I'm
quickly.
doing is I'm swiping between the top.
Big discount. Only today.
All right.
16 terabytes large capacity mobile hard disk.
Which is the treetops, and the ground. Quickly, I'm dragging the paint with a clean, damp brush from the top to the bottom or from the bottom to the top. And this is creating tree trunks. And I love this technique because in some of the lighter areas, the tree trunks are really light and they almost look far away. And then in some of the darker areas, they're a little bit darker. And then if you move really quickly, some of the colors from the top and the bottom blend together in the same trunk, and it just gives such a beautiful effect, especially if you can manage to get to this tree trunk part before everything starts to dry. Don't forget to add branches before the trunks dry, so just another quick little swipe. I feel like the quicker and the more fluid I can do it without thinking about painting the trunk really slowly, the more organic it looks, because some of them are a little bit wobbly or leaning to the side. And I
I
just
don't even know if I'm
love
doing this
how
right,
natural that
y'all.
looks.
Because
And
I
then
think I
while
would
everything is still wet, you can continue to play with the colors. So I'm adding some darker green at the base or up
this
in the
started to
leaves
dry,
for
so she said it
shadows.
can't.
I can add darker tree trunks to look like trees that are a little bit closer, leaving some of those lighter trees for maybe trees that look like they're farther in the background. And one of the reasons I think this technique is so fun is because it very quickly looks like trees and it looks like you know what you're doing. If you're moving fast enough that everything is still wet, then the trunks are blending into the bottom blob and the top blob, and they look very cohesive, very on purpose. So that's why I
I
think
just did what she
this is
did, and
the
my branches
easiest way
don't
to make
even.
trees. You just need to move quickly. So we're going to practice more trees. I'm going to show you 3 more examples with different colors and different shapes at the end of this example, but I am going to finish off the details of this one first. So you can see that while it's still wet, I can play around with the colors, I can play around with the textures, I can add darker colors for contrast. But another big tip I would give you is try not to mess with it once it has dried, because it won't look as fluid and organic and kind of that easy watercolor look if we mess with it after it's dried. We want all of the marks to be made while it's still wet.
I don't even know, y'all. Because when I did mine, and I chose purple, she ain't talking about like the water, how much water when you're putting it on the brush. I did purple for mine. She's adding some details.
And here is the final piece. I just really love the way this looks. It's so loose and fluid, and you can tell what it is. It's the perfect addition to your landscapes. Now I wanted to show
I'm
you
doing
3
something
other
right now, but
examples where I'm using different colors for the leaves and for the ground.
I did a
Also
little
changing
experiment.
the
I feel
shapes,
like I
doing
needed
different
to.
things with the tree.
I feel like I needed to. I needed to do my strokes a little bit, but I think it's kind of dreamy, y'all. Hansi, you got to learn how to go play, bud. This is mommy time. There it is. It was fun. I used purple. Like I did a purple theme, y'all. And I literally just did the strokes. I didn't even care if it was perfect. I do want to add like a little bit. Like she was saying, you can add other stuff. Let's see how this goes. There we go. I added some little bit of grass there. Now it's starting to look more realistic. Then I added some grass. Look, that looks a little bit more more realistic. I can't even concentrate. So okay. I'm gonna do this again. This was fun. I really enjoyed this one. I'm trying to think about how grass don't grow in the same direction all the time. Doesn't. Okay. Yeah. Maybe there's. Okay. Have fun. Yeah. I think I need to work on the trees though a little bit more. I think I'm gonna do my trees different than hers because it's like almost like my strokes. My strokes is not quite. We're gonna do this again, y'all. I was really enjoying that. Woo, child, that felt good. I think that I needed to add more water to the page though, because it was way too much space, and I had to fill it in. And she said she don't really want you to fill it in. She wants you to leave spaces. So let's do this again here. We're going to. I might just stick with the green and then wait a minute here. She's having everybody do it another way. So I'm thinking about how I'm designing the tree. She needs to tell people like how you do it, how your strokes is how also how the tree is gonna work for you. And that you gotta go fast. And she said keep it wet. Like you actually gotta go a lot faster than she's saying, because that's looking better. That's looking better. Okay. All right. Okay. I want to put some red in mine. She could do what she want to do with hers. She says make sure it's staying wet. Okay. But she did say, she said make sure that, she said you have to work quick. Okay, lady. That's what I'm going to do. A little bit of purples in here. Mm. I'm trying to work quick like she said, but dang, I'm flying through the brushes here. Yeah, this still needed to be more wet, y'all. Okay. I had to, I mean, I feel like mine's just dried so quick. I had to do mine's a little different than hers. It dried as soon as I put it on the page. Like literally. She's saying work with what you got, and I am, but it's like, okay, she said you could go darker to add some accent. So that's what I'm doing. She said you could go darker. Ooh, this lady. Maybe it's some weird bush that's here. I don't know. I just did it, y'all. It seems like when I go faster, I do better. So I guess I like when I lock into my flow state, it seems like it gets better. That's what it seemed like. Guess it's different for everybody. Mm, no. I'm trying to make the grass a little darker here, like we're we're in between. Okay. I think I'm gonna leave it alone. But this is kind of what I just did, y'all. Oh, thank you. Somebody said they love it. You like it? I'm learning, y'all. I still gotta work on moving faster because she said, y'all, Lord, I ain't even about it. Let's get this one more time. Let's get this one more time. Y'all, she said I should be able, maybe I should do my trees first then. Maybe that's what it is. For me, I have to do my trees first because I'm taking too much time trying to concentrate and it's drying. So, see, it seems like it's drying already. Fast drying. She said it has to stay wet. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just wetting my brush as I'm doing it because it just makes no sense. And okay, see that's okay. Now let's try this again. And she did say it had to be wet. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Because she said, try different colors. That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna let the colors bleed into it. Okay. Maybe a little bit of something red there. I don't even know what that is, but she said let it come through. All right. Okay. She said I have to pull it. Okay, it's pulling better. Looking for where it's wet. It has to be wet. Whatever you pull has to be wet. That's what she said, y'all. That's what I'm doing. I feel like that was a little bit too much water. She's not talking about like water flow, but I'll just pat it a little bit. Okay. Maybe. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of purple in here. She said you could go darker, and that's what I'm doing. Okay. Maybe a purple tree. A little bit darker here. That's bold. This is a bold tree, y'all. Straight up bold tree here. Okay. So I guess she said you could go over it a little darker. It seemed like it looks so much better when it dry. It just has that grainy look to it that I like. Yeah. I don't quite know what that is, but we're gonna see if we add a little bit of brown to kind of throw the picture off a little bit. Maybe a little green. I'm just letting my strokes be the judge of whatever is supposed to come. This is okay. This is getting into details. I see. Like you have to do a lot of looking when you're don't know, y'all. I feel like the background ain't serving like it should. So let me help it out a little bit. It's trying to serve. The background is trying. It just looks different because it has to dry. I can always help it out. Okay. There we go. Looks a little better. What the hell is that? Y'all hear that noise? Somebody got a cow over here. sound like a sound like a cow mooing. Why would somebody have a cow here though? That's so weird. Sound like somebody got a straight up cow. I'm just making up stuff on this painting. I don't even know what that is. Just I'm just doing some stuff, y'all. Sometimes you just use your imagination. I realized that we don't have to paint things so real. I did want a little bit of like grass, some weird yellow there, but it looks a little bit too bright yellow. I should have mixed it with a little bit of brown. That's what I should have did. Yeah, well, okay, maybe there's a thinking maybe there's like a boat there. Maybe there's stuff in the boat. I don't know. Maybe there's stuff in the boat. Like maybe there's apples in there. I don't know. Maybe there's oranges. I'm trying to draw like there's stuff in the boat. I'm straight up using my imagination with that one over there. Because I don't know. Just finding a way to just have fun. We need to get back to this. I don't know why we don't do this. I think it do need a little bit of like accent there. Maybe there's a little bit of dirt. Okay, I did my best, y'all. Maybe I'll do something else. Here we go. Okay. I love that grainy look that it has. I love the way watercolor looks when it dries. Like I said, I'm new. I'm just learning landscape, but she said use any colors we want to use. But I felt like I wanted to add a little boat over here, so I just kind of did this boat over here. I didn't really add nothing under here, but I could have. I like I said, this was mostly just a practice learning water flow and colors. I did my tree purple. She did hers green. So I did get a little heavier. She said I could go darker with the colors to add some depth to the tree. I didn't do that here. See, this is a more like looking like wet on wet. But this one definitely the colors are bolder. I like this one. Okay, y'all. That was fun. I got about another hour or so. Let me see what I'm working with. I want to do some. I just want to just get muscle memory with doing trees in landscape in watercolor for beginners to intermediate. I tell people to get good at something, you have to do it over and over and over and over again. So that it's like the same when you do writing, you know, same thing. So I'm gonna do one more sprint. Um, but I want to make sure that I save her video. Okay. This is what I'd rather do now, y'all. I cut back on all that talking. I find that people are talking too much. It's a lot of talking and not enough creating. I noticed her brush is smaller. That's another thing. I'm looking at these trees. Okay, I'm gonna try this tree right here. I do want to try that other type of tree she did, maybe later. But why can't I use this brush? Because I saw some of the people were using this brush instead. So we'll see. We'll see what she's using the point. So I'll use the pointy brush. I'll call it the pointy brush. I don't know what size that is though. Looks kind of small. Guess I'll use this one. So she's doing the strokes first. That's the that looks kind of blobby. I didn't even mean for that. Let me see what she's doing here. She's actually doing them closer too. It's hard to do. I find it hard to do tutorials that are on YouTube because you got to, if it's on your phone, screensaver, you know. She damn sure did it closer. And then when she go over and so I'm gonna leave some of the white space there. I think we can. We're having a little blobby. Mine's is a little darker than hers, but I'll just dab it. There we go. Looks like a little tree. Well, what did she use for? So let me look at her. Okay, she did add the darker one side. So it is what it is, y'all. She did. I figure mine's just a different kind of tree. Okay. It's my little tree. We're going to do this tree again, but I'm going to use a smaller brush. I'm thinking about how it don't have to be perfect. I think one of the reasons why I started painting is to overcome my perfectionism. I have a tendency to want to make things perfect. That's the writer in me, the editor in me. That looks like an interesting tree. I like it when you dab it because it looks different. Maybe the branches are showing. That could be it too. There we go. There we go. Okay, little trees. Maybe I should use a smaller brush. I feel like when I use a smaller, I'm better at using smaller brushes. Okay, let's do this other tree here that she's doing. So it looks like she's painting like little triangles for that one bush. Like she's making sure that she gets the triangular shape. Oh, I see what she's doing. Okay, I see exactly what she's doing. She's making sure that there's 3 points to. She needs to say it though, right? This is what I mean. Not everybody's supposed to be teaching up on YouTube. Everybody think they can teach on YouTube, but they don't be telling the truth about how they're doing it. They don't tell all the steps. I see how she's doing that. She's she's doing 3 points to the leaf. That way that way it looks like a bush. One, two, and she has three. One on. See, and she just makes the. She just makes the. Let me see here. I'm figuring this out. She doesn't talk in this video, and that's what makes this suck. Sucks like that. See? No, maybe that's some weird tree. But I see what she's doing. So that's looking better. This attempt at it was better than before. But I think that she's still drawing on the page. That's what it looks like she's still doing. Still drawing little bubbles. That's what she. Now she needs to say how she did. Let me see where she went. She doesn't show how she did the top part. And I found that to be toxic. So I'm going to just do how the other lady said to do it. She said, pull the water from the one like this. Okay. I guess this will help me with placement. All right. Okay, that turned out better. This one turned out better than the first time. I don't like that I had to fight my way through. This lady need to be more specific with her lessons. Okay, that one turned out better this time. See, that one turned out better. Turned out better than last time. Here's my little trees I did. So I got better at this one. I got better. But I like the pulling of the water. Like I like that. I think doing the trees wet on wet, the leaves, it works better because you get to pull the water. So yeah, like wet. I like the wet on wet. Okay, for the trees, for the tree leaves, I do. Okay, I think it works. Okay, let's see here. See the wet on wet. I think it works better for um for the leaves. I mean, for me, I guess it's different for everybody. She said you can do like a little bit, go a little darker there. Uh-huh. It's like once I get my foot in it, it's like I got it. I'm thinking about the shape that she was saying about always consider the shape of the um. I'm also dabbing this brush. She said you have to work quick because you got to draw the water. So trying to move quick here. Okay, I forgot that. This is what it is, y'all. I'm not killing myself. At least it's looking better. The shape, the me being able to shape this is looking better. She did say we could go darker. I could go darker on the end there. Okay. Now I do gotta pull the water so I can see where my placement is at. Let me see here. Maybe I don't want it done. She was talking about uh, okay. So that actually looks better. I actually did better than before. And The pink's in there. I'm trying to. I went too far down with that other. Okay. I'm going fast to see if I have muscle memory, if there's any muscle memory actually kicking in, or it's becoming more effortless to do it. I do remember she had. I should have went a little further. And coloring with the brush too. I guess that's something else too. This is turning out very interesting. Woo! Thinking my way through this. Okay. So here's my last sprint of the day. I do like how I was just using. I'm getting used to starting to get used to using the tip of the brush, like drawing with the brush. So it's getting better though, y'all. It's getting better. I like how I did that branch there. Just using the tip. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. Let me let this one. That one. Okay. Watercolor. Okay, y'all, I gotta go. Thanks for watching, everybody. If y'all enjoyed, I really was trying to learn the brush stroke today, y'all. That's what was important to me. So these trees here, just some trees. I like this one. I like that one. And here's some little trees. Okay. I see growth. I'm going to put this on because I'm kind of proud of this one. This one I'm proud of. This one I'm proud of. Where's this one? I could draw the seams first like some people do, but I really want to learn the brush strokes so that I could do it just with the brush without drawing. Okay, so today was landscapes and trees mostly. I feel like hers, she must be loading her brush a lot because her stuff looks I don't know. Maybe that's just how it looks once you take a picture of it. My strokes, my tree strokes looks a little different than hers, but they still look like trees. My strokes are just different. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. If y'all enjoyed this video, feel free to let me know. Bye.